All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is how do we animate our design. The way to animate our design is to create something that Desmos called sliders. So these are like transformations that are changing value. So for example, the first thing we will animate are the waves. So what we want to do is, in order to create that illusion of the waves moving, is we will change the amplitude of the sinusoidal functions. So we, instead of putting an amplitude of 2 or 3 or 1, we are going to put the letter A. And the moment you do this, Desmos will ask add slider, and you click on it. So that means, yes, I do want to add a slider. And then as you can see, slider A has values between -10 and 10. So if I press the play button here, what it will do is it will change that amplitude, and it will constantly make it, give it a value between -10 and 10. Now I can always adjust this. So I can say, what I want is the amplitude to be between 1 and 5. And then let's see what happens. Okay, so this is what you're going to see. Maybe 5 is, again, a very large value, so you can say between 1 and 3. Again, this is completely up to you. And there you go. Everything is showing this, illusion of the waves moving. Now you can add the same slider to the other functions that you use for waves. So I can put um, the same vertical stretch to all the functions, and there you go. All right. And sometimes what you might want to do is you might want to change the speed. So right now the speed is 1 times. You can increase it, okay, or you can make it even slower. So you can make it less than 1. Okay, so this is completely up to your design. Also, you have these options in here where you can go from 1 to 3 and 3 to 1. So the amplitude is going to go 1 and then 2 and then 3 is going to increase, and then it's going to decrease after that. Or you can just make it in one direction, so just increasing all the time. Okay, so it's going to look something like so. All right, now what other things can you do? So for the birds, we could apply the transformation again with the same vertical, with the same slider. So I could say A, and see what happens. And the same thing over here. So I can put A, but multiply it by the actual function. All right, so this is what you get. Now, sometimes you don't want all the graphs to have sort of the same kind of animation factor. Like you don't want everything to move the same way. So if you don't want that, then you can create a new slider. So for example, for the birds, I can create slider B, and I can adjust it. Maybe I can say it goes from 0.5 to 2. Okay, and then just use that slider for the birds. Okay, and there you go. All right. And if I play it, this is what I get. All right. Now, there are also some other interesting things you can do. You can shift the birds up and down, right, if you wanted to. So in here in the equation where I have +6, I can say +b. But again, make sure that you do that for both parts of the bird design. And as you can see here, what is happening, the birds are actually moving up and down as well. And again, you can do that for the absolute value part as well. Okay, and there you go, they're moving. All right, again, you can add a new slider if you want to do that. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is I want to show you how to organize your work. So if you click on plus, you have a few options. You can create an image that you can add to your graph. You can also add a note. You can add folders. So for folders, if you click on folders, you can name your folder. So for example, I can say, here's where I have all the controls or the sliders. Okay, and then all the sliders, I can just drag them to the control folder. Okay, and I had the A as well, so I can just drag this and just put it in the control slider. And then if I minimize it, you'll see all the controls will be inside. I can add another folder for sinusoidal. So I can say sinusoidal functions, right? I'm just organizing my work. And this way, you will know that you've hit all of the expectations and all the conditions in your assignment, right? You know that you have sinusoidal functions, you'll know that you have logarithmic functions, and so on. Okay, and that's all, everybody. Have fun animating. Maybe one last thing is I can show you that when you're done, you can actually hide the grid, you can hide the axis, you can hide the y-axis, and all you have left is your design. You can also so here for sinusoidal functions, if I call the first function here, I'm gonna call it f of x. Then another cool thing that you can do is you can actually color part of the graph. So if I say f of x, sorry, if I say y is less than f of x, so this is an inequality, then what it will do is will color everything under the function f of x. Okay, so that's just a little bit more advanced, but it's something that you might want to consider for your design. I can change the color, and there you go. Also, if you want to create a sun or anything circular, you might want to use, the equation of a circle, which is x to the power of 2 plus y to the power of 2 equals the radius to the power of 2. And have fun with it. Remember, you also have to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and create composite functions. So play with that a little bit and think about how they can add to your design. Here is a challenge for you. Can you get the boat to move to the left and to the right? That means you would apply the same horizontal shift. So you would create a slider, maybe slider C, and apply that horizontal shift to all the elements, all the equations that you use to create the boat. Have fun, everybody.